All right, Jean, thank you for joining my Zoom. And I believe you and your wife have questions about how to go about working in Australia as a doctor. So you are an ophthalmologist, practicing ophthalmologist in the Philippines. Is that in Manila or not in Manila?
Yes.
And how long have you been a consultant?
Multiple places.
Okay. And as a consultant, how long have you been in
Roughly
practice?
around, I think roughly around less than 2 years.
3 years. And then your
Two,
wife is
2 years.
2 years, and your wife is also a doctor, and she's a practicing consultant, or
Currently a underboard, so
okay,
she's going to
studying
take the board exams.
this year?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
you have questions about working in Australia. Tell me more about this interest. Hello?
Okay. Hello.
Yep.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. For my case, um, we're we're just interested in working in Australia. Maybe if also possible, we can get a fellowship program, and then if granted, be able to work also in Australia.
Okay.
But
So,
but if not, yeah,
yeah.
if not granted fellowship, I can maybe work as a general ophthalmologist. Is as it's good also.
And then as a consultant already in the Philippines for 2 years, are you working full time, part time, 6 days, 7 days? How's that going?
I'm working full time around 6 days a day, 6 days a week.
And then how's that going? Are you happy working full time, 6 days a week forever?
I'm not really sure about that, but uh, if the low, well, that might be very good. That's my
And then are you working in private or in
sorry
hospital?
about my signal. It's
Yeah,
a
that's an
little bit
understand.
unstable. I'm in the hospital right now.
Yeah. So you're working in the hospital operating?
Currently, no, I'm in the office of the hospital.
But your work as an ophthalmologist in working 6 days a week, is that hospital based or you also do clinics or mixed?
I also do mixed. I also do clinics and the hospital base.
Okay. So do you have your own private practice as well?
Yes.
Okay. So you and your wife are thinking about maybe going to Australia because maybe it's a better lifestyle, I suppose.
Yeah. Yes.
And you have a family already, kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I have one kid. We have one kid. Boy.
Okay. So
Sorry about my internet.
no, don't worry about it. So basically, I'll tell you what I did. After I did my radiology training in Medical City. And then after my training, I applied all over the world for a fellowship position. And the only literally all over the world, including America, all over. And I applied for interventional vascular radiology. And my goal was, if I do get accepted, was to do the 1 year fellowship training and go back to the Philippines and practice in Medical City as the first female interventional radiologist. That was 18 years ago. This month is actually, I'm celebrating my 18 years anniversary as a doctor here. So I came here in January 2005 to do the 1 year interventional vascular fellowship. And then in March 2005, I met my husband, who's also Filipino. We got engaged in June and we got married in November. So I did not go back to the Philippines. My plan wasn't God's plan. So my destiny is here in Australia. And after that, I was looking for a fellowship position or any training position, or what we call it, resident medical officer or registrar training position in any public hospital, so that I can sit the exam, the part 2 exam of radiology. So I've met already a lot of fellows from all over the world who are, or doctors in any specialty who are coming to Australia to do fellowship training. It is very competitive because you are competing against the local trainees, and also you're competing against the countries all over the world, including the Commonwealth countries like the UK, India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Singapore. Oh, I don't know whether Singapore is included there. Anyway, so yeah, so those for you as an ophthalmologist, you probably will aim to apply for fellowship positions. So you will, I think, in the group chat I've sent, I don't know whether that's you or your wife who sent a group chat, and I've forwarded the Royal Australian College of Ophthalmology. I don't know whether you got that. What do you think, Jane?
Maybe it was my wife.
So yeah, there are fellowship positions there in their website. Basically, what I did was I did not go to the college website, because when I was applying to work as a fellow here in Australia, I did not even know the college website. I just went and to Dr. Google and checked all the hospitals in Australia and literally submitted my letter of application and my CV. So that's what I did. There's no one else who were guiding me or telling me what to do. So I'm just instinctively, that's what I did. And I'm so blessed that at least one hospital replied to me and accepted me. But for you to get a fellowship position or get the job, if you do get the job offer, before you can even get your visa, apply for the visa, you need to apply, you need to have the English exam. It should either OET, IELTS, or PTE. And then police clearance. What else? And I think I've sent it in the email, the list that you need to do, because you cannot be accepted to work. You cannot be registered by the medical board if you don't have registration. So at this stage, do you have any question? Jean.
So in your case, you applied for fellowship first.
So it may
Yeah.
take time because
then,
it's yeah. Keep going.
So after fellowship, you applied to work there permanently.
So after my fellowship, because I was I already have the what do you call this? The bridging visa, spouse de facto visa, and then temporary. After that, de facto was temporary visa. I was looking for another general radiology training position, because I was aiming to sit the exam, the part 2 exam of radiology, because in radiology there's part 1 and part 2. I did not go through AMC. You don't, to be a fellow, to apply for a fellowship, you don't need AMC, because the hospital will sponsor your visa application, meaning will give you a letter of employment so that you can apply for the medical board registration and you can apply for your medical training visa. But prior to that, you need to have the English exam. So after my fellowship, I applied for another general radiology job, which I got for 6 months. After that, I was offered another fellowship and another fellowship and another fellowship. My journey is different from others because I was lucky enough that I was employed by the hospital that every time there's a need for a fellow, I was their first person to ask and available because usually their fellowship positions, they advertise this 2 years in advance. And for some reason, if the fellow will not the fellow that they appointed cannot come to Australia for whatever reason, they would need to have a backup plan and need to employ because because they need the fellow every year. So I was fortunately the backup plan, so I got the fellowship position at that time in those periods. So after my fellowship exam, I was able to sit the college exam, and I passed my college exam, radiology exam, in 2011. After 2011, I was a consultant, and now for 8 years, I'm a business owner here in Perth, Western Australia. So it's a bit long for me, for my journey. For you, if you are aiming to work to do a fellowship, your options would be apply for fellowships in I'll resend you the link in the email or in the chat, or just tell your wife to message me again if I did not give that to her. The link to the Royal Australian College of Ophthalmology. And then you will also, if you and your wife would like, either you or both can apply for just for the meantime for you to get a job here in Australia, and then working towards the fellowship or applying for fellowship, you can apply for RMO, meaning resident medical officer jobs, because Australia is crying out for resident medical officers, meaning they're crying out for doctors from overseas to fill in the positions. And I've sent the job advertisement in the emails that I've sent to your wife for this Zoom invite.
Thank you very much. We'll check on that too.
So yeah, it can be a long process. It can be disheartening, but once you get offered a RMO job, if you look at the website, their annual per annum salary would be at least 100,000 Aussie dollars per annum. That's equivalent to, I think, very comfortable millionaire job, millionaire salary when you convert it to Philippine peso per annum.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
you'll be living a very comfortable life. So for example, when I arrived here 18 years ago, in 3 months time, I was able to buy my own car. And then in 6 months time, secondhand own car. And then in 6 months, when my husband and I got married in November, we were able to purchase our own apartment.
Let's see.
And then
That was really great.
you'll be living a comfortable life because Australia, including Western Australia, is one of the most livable city in the world, and it's the best place to bring up your kid. How young is your kid?
Going 5 years old.
So this is the my kids from 6 months old. They are already doing swimming lessons, and then they are going to Catholic school. You have the option to go to public school, and they were in semi-private Catholic school before, and it's a really great community school. They well-rounded. They not only focus on academics, they're also focused on sports and team sports or solo sports, whatever. So very sport oriented sila, and they're very happy. My kids have done swimming, tennis, what else? Water polo. Or after school, my daughter used to do gymnastics. Now she's doing netball. So and then also music. So some schools offer what do you call this, music or playing musical instrument as part of their curriculum. So my kids are playing flute, and they're part of their school activities and what do you call this, performances outside school. So my kids are already, my son is turning 16 in April, and my daughter is turning 12 in March. So they are well-rounded. I don't think it's something that I can give to them if I'm in the Philippines. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's really great. I was also wanting to enroll my kid to music and sports also to make him well-rounded.
So yes, my kids, they're doing that. And the Aussie life is all about study, 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 but there will be sports at school, there will be sports after school, music during school, or music after school, really up to you what you can and cannot do. So our job here as a parent without any maids, it's not easy because your job is also doing house chores, and your job is also doing school runs, pick up, drop off. And then
Yeah,
there's
but
option, there's option for
yeah,
you to put them in after school or before school daycare. Depends what's your availability, depends on your schedule or your schedule yung dalawa. Depends on how it will work for you. But for me at that time when I had my first, he was I had my mom before I gave birth to him. So after after I had him in 3 months, I was able to go back to work as a fellow, still doing on calls, weekends and public holidays or whatever, and also study for exam. And so I was able to bring my mom here 1 year, my mom 1 year, my in-laws, they're taking turns 1 year each to look after my kids while I was studying, preparing for my exams.
wow. So when you were still a fellow, you were pregnant at that time?
Yeah, with my
Oh,
first, I worked until my son was eight. I was when I was pregnant until 8 months. I was working as a fellow, and then my daughter, I was studying. I finished my my fellow contract in January 2011. My exam, my college exam was March. So and I had my Zoe. I think after the exam, I was so nervous that I might give birth during exams. Because when you're pregnant here, or the healthcare system here is fantastic compared to the Philippines. You've got the Medicare, which is the Australia's health system. where you can avail of the medical services in public hospital for free. And then you also have your private insurance if you will be if you have cover for pregnancy and delivery, you will have private insurance cover. So it's easy. It's not a lot of out of pocket, and you are well taken care of. Yeah. In terms of health system, we've got one of the best health system compared to America. I think that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, probably. And also, I think the cost of healthcare is very high in the
Yeah.
United States.
Yeah. So if you already have permanent residency, I think if you have permanent residency, you will have Medicare. Medicare, that's the public health system. And then if you have temporary visa or medical training visa, you will need your private insurance, definitely, because you will not get your visa without private insurance. But everything will be depends on your cover. You can get what is called funding for your any healthcare needs. So it's very good. My mom, when she was here, when we need to bring her to the hospital or emergency, we had cover from our insurance. We got a refund.
I see. But when you are not still a permanent resident there, you cannot get Medicard.
Medicare, I cannot remember, but if you have private
Medicare.
insurance, I think you're fine.
I
Hello,
see.
Ida. So I was just finishing my story and so with Jean. So
Hello, Doc.
hi, how are you? So um, so if you all you like if you the lifestyle here also I can only say the lifestyle in Perth. My I you like this week I was in the beach like Boracay type beach, white sand beach for the past 4 days. Been going to the beach because it's summer. It's summer break for the kids. So this week is our last day of summer break. My kids are going back to school tomorrow. So yeah, we've been enjoying a lot of sun, a lot of beach, a lot of fun. And that's the Aussie lifestyle here. You can go on holidays anywhere in Western Australia. It's the biggest state in Australia actually, and we're one of the what do you call this safest state during the pandemic because from 2020 2021 we were in what do you call this in a bubble where our state was closed from interstate and overseas. So we were living like normal lives. We did not wear any masks for 2 years. So we were living normal lives here. We did not know anything about the challenges of wearing masks all day every day for 2 years.
Sounds promising.
Yeah. And by the time we got we had COVID positive patients or COVID positive people, we already 90% of us already vaccinated. So our death rates really nothing compared to the rest of the world. So Jean, yeah, sorry, you there?
I haven't heard what was the discussion earlier, but
that's okay. Jean, do you have any other question?
Yeah, actually, Ida Marie is my wife, and she has a lot of questions prepared for you.
Good. Hello, kamusta?
So I asked her to come online too.
Oh, that's cool. So yeah, I was telling Jean the lifestyle, my journey. I think I've sent all information to you via the messenger.
Sure, doctor.
Huh?
The questions I have sent via messenger.
No. I thought I gave you some information already. Some of my journey. from our messenger chat?
From your YouTube, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So yeah, that's just the discussion background about me, what I did as a fellow, how did I apply for a fellow. For you, what you can do after you pass the exam is to focus on your English exam. See, and then either English exam, PTE, OET, or IELTS. Pag napasa mo na yon, you can, whilst waiting for your exam and whilst waiting for you to pass the English exam, you can start applying to the medical jobs that I've sent you. Did you see that?
Not yet, doc. The
So
medical jobs.
So the medical jobs, it's called, where is that?
Doc, how come that other doctors can go for fellowship there in Australia without having English exam, but only
You need the English exam.
certification? Oh, really need
You
that?
you cannot be registered by the medical board without the English exam.
So it's really necessary, because some stories I heard, they just request from the medical school a certification of the English proficiency as medium of teaching.
They're lucky.
So
I
they
did
just got
that.
lucky.
I did that. I don't think because that was 18 years ago, so maybe they've changed. But I don't think APRA will allow you. There's a list in the APRA website. The APRA, I should email. You should get it in my email. The APRA website, the medical board website. It's called APRA. APRA. I've emailed that to you. If you go to that website, you will see that the only exemption that they will not let you don't need the English exam is if you're a citizen, you've got Australian citizenship,
I
or
see.
you're from the UK, or you're from America, or from other English speaking countries.
Okay.
I don't think
So
Philippines is included.
yeah, it's because of the Constitution
Or
1988. Yeah.
alternatively, if the hospital likes you, they can probably let you in, but pending your English exam.
So we can just have the exam there
Depends on the
if that will be the
hospital,
case.
because that's what I
Okay.
did.
Oh, how about
Depends
doctor?
how desperate the hospital is.
How about doctor? I was reading it in the chat group. Um, you mentioned the APRA, and then there is this Epic account. What is that for, and what other steps before it or after it, so
Yeah.
that other silent readers in that chat group will benefit to that question
I've
as
sent
well.
you that already. I've sent in the chat group the EPIC, the ECFMG. That's a requirement if you want to get as a qualified. I think that's for a requirement for AMC, and that's also a requirement if you want to be a qualified consultant here. You need that anyway for them to verify your medical school and your and your specialty like ophthalmology. You will need to submit your certificates there. It's all in their website. Just read the requirements, and it takes 6 months or so to get that. So with you can start doing it because you already have your Doctor of Medicine diploma, so you can submit that. For Jean, you can submit your medical school, your medical board exam, and your ophthalmology completion of ophthalmology residency certificate for the ECFMG. That's the
So that
EPIC verification, and it does take 6 months or so, depends, for them to process it.
I see, Doc.
So you
So that
can
would be
start
the
now. That's what your
first
first
step.
step. And the
Okay,
first step, another first step is the English exam.
English exam. Would it be just the regular, for example, IELTS, or
You
is it
can do
necessary IELTS UK visa?
IELTS is the hardest English exam for me. For
Which is
the
the easier one?
I also did OET, and then that's an OET for me is easier because all the questions are medical. There's a new one that the other people that I know has done. It's called PTE. By the way, if we get cut off in 6 minutes, just log in again. So hello, I acknowledge Irene. We'll get to Irene later on. So
So
yeah,
thank you, Doc, for that. So number one would be the EPIC, and then number two would be the easiest would be OET or PTE,
yeah.
and then after that, Doc, if if the process is still ongoing, would it be necessary for us to go visit as a tourist there in the hospital that we have been eyeing, or to the hospital that we have been contacting to, or
Yes and no. I've sent you the email of the meds job. Remember? Do you remember the
yes po?
email? So just check that meds job, because while you're waiting for whatever yung ECFMG at saka English exam mo, you can start applying, or Jean can start applying kasi hindi ka pa board passer, right?
Jean is the ophthalmologist. Me,
Pero
I'm still
yeah,
I
so
still lack
Jean can
board exam.
start applying for RMO jobs in the website I've sent you, Meds Job WA. There's also some links that I've sent also in the group chat yata, or in the Facebook page of jobs available in Australia, or probably you'll find it in my YouTube. The links in the comments. You can apply for our RMO or a fellow. There's a lot of jobs available, and Australia, especially Western Australia, they're crying out for doctors from all over the world to fill in that position, as long as you're willing to start from zero, or you're willing to work remotely as well. But yeah, I think it is achievable to work in Australia or in Western Australia as a resident medical officer or as a fellow, as long as you're patient and believe in yourself that you can do it. Because like what I've told Jean, he's working almost we're working almost the whole week, 6 days a week. In Australia, if you work as a resident medical officer, you don't need to work 24, 36 hours here. I think the maximum you can work as a RMO, or when I was a fellow, was the maximum was 12 hours during my time. Now I think it's 10 to 12 lang ang roster mo. Usually ganun ang there's a lot of life work balance here, and you don't need to work 6 days, 7 days. I think you will have I think some would have 10 days straight work, and then you have a few days off, something like that. Usually ang
That
roster
would,
nila.
yeah, that would be nice, Doc. No? But Doc, if newly board passer here in the Philippines, if we apply there, there would be 1 year observership. Is that correct? Or we can work already as a GP if some state are in need?
No, you can't work as a GP. GP here is a specialty. You need to do 5 to 6 years of GP training.
What would it be? What's in store for a newly graduate GP?
RMO, go and then you apply for GP training.
Oh, it's like resident medical officer
Para kang
position.
intern. RMO is just like an intern but higher than an intern.
But they are paid po.
Very much paid. I think I was looking at the ads and it's equivalent to 100,000 Australian dollars per annum. But if you do on calls and public holidays, there will be more. There will be, they call it loading, and that's already equivalent to what's the exchange rate in the Philippines. You already be in the Philippines, you'll be a millionaire per annum.
I see. So it will be like
It's really
that's
worth it.
RMO.
RMO pa lang
Yes.
yun. If you're a
Opo.
consultant, triple, quadruple.
Yeah. Yeah, if for this consultants na, it will be specialist pathway for them
Yes,
or
for
fellowship training.
yes. Yes.
But
So for
what
me,
exams are
exams?
what exams do they need po? Aside from their PTE or OET, and if they pass their requirements to EPIC already.
Okay. We've got only 1 minute. Let's end this call and go back in. Irene, Ida, and Jean, can we go back in again because we're gonna be cut off? So that I can answer your
Okay, Doc.
question. Okay, thank you.
Okay po, Doc.